Why is it you think that he always saved the seeds of that one?
Because his mother grew them from the time he was a little boy, and after we got married and got out on our own, we just just bought seeds and stuff, and we never
Right.
really thought about saving other than that one particular kind of beans. That's the only thing that we've ever actually saved like that.
So your husband went out of his way to make sure he saved
That
the
he saved
seed
those beans.
Up
Yeah.
until his dying year.
Yeah.
up until his dying year. Now, can you describe those green beans? Was there anything special about them, you think, that besides the fact that they were his mother had always grown them?
Well, I don't really know what made them special. I know when they're green beans, they're stringy. They've got strings on them. They're a string bean. And when you shell them, when you let them dry and shell them, they make a brown bean.
Okay.
A brown. Well, they're kind of mixed up colors. Some of them brown striped, and some of them. Once in a while, you find one that's cold black.
Uh-huh.
We found a black one
A
or
black
two
one.
whenever we was shelling them the other day.
Right.
And they're they're just a variety like that. And the only name I have ever heard from them was just old-fashioned soup beans.
Old-fashioned soup beans.
That's all I have ever heard. I'm sure
Okay.
they had a botanical name, but I don't have any idea
Right.
what it was.
Did they say old-fashioned? Did they describe any other seeds as old-fashioned that they saved?
No, that's the only thing I remember.
Okay.
That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
You better get out of my garden.
It seems like this row here is
It's
doing the
doing.
best.
It's the first one I planted, and that may be why.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But, they have done real well, real well.
Yeah, because you didn't add any fertilizer or anything, and you just
No, this is
planted
just
them.
dirt.
That's great.
This is just dirt.
Well, that's
And my mom always told me, she goes, you plant 3 seeds. One to come up, one to push it up, and one to die. The other 2 don't work.
He did all of that.
Now, you said up until his last dying days. Now, so he was always keeping a garden here.
Every year.
Yeah.
And so he was continuing to save those seeds. And now I know you all were concerned that you may have lost the seeds. Can you tell that story?
We had saved them, and I kept them in the freezer.
Uh-huh.
And I had a freezer down in the shop, and he got to where he didn't realize what he was doing. So he tried, and I know he did it. He didn't, he just said somebody else did it, but I'm sure that he's the one that did it.
Right.
He tried to hook the air compressor up in a 110 outlet, so it burned it all.
Blew the fuse.
It blew it all up,
Yeah.
and caused the freezer to go out. And
Right.
I didn't realize it till it was
Too
gone.
late.
We lost the freezer full of fish and all the stuff that we had in the freezer, other freezer down there. So
Right.
but that was he didn't plant beans last year.
Not last year. That'd be the year
He
before.
planted beans the year before, but he was sick. He had Alzheimer's, and he was sick for 5
Right.
years, 5 or 6 years. And he only set aside a few of the plants that we didn't pick.
Right.
The first beans that come on was the ones that we saved for seeds.
Right.
And he did that year, but he picked them too green.
Uh-huh.
He didn't leave them hang on there till
Right.
they got ready
So
to
that they
pick.
dried, yeah.
But he picked them, and he put them in a bucket, and her and me. I knew that we lost what we had frozen because of the freezer going out and losing everything
Right.
that was in it. So I knew we'd lost that, and I thought, well, maybe I've got a few in the freezer here, but never could find any. So I don't think we saved any up here. And when we went down there and got to looking, and we found this bucket full, or part of a bucket full, that he had picked that wasn't ripe enough. So we went through them and got enough for her to plant what she's got this year.
Right.
We saved a few of them,
Right.
and as far as I know, there's no one else
No,
that
no.
has got them.
So you all were concerned, though, that you had lost them.
Oh, I was afraid we had.
I thought we had
Yeah.
lost them. I didn't think that we'd ever get any at all out of them.
Why would you say these beans are important to you?
The only reason that I feel like they're important is because they are an old type beans, and they come from his mother.
Uh-huh.
They come from his mother. That's where they originated from.
Right.
And he always wanted that kind of bean
Uh-huh.
until the day he died. That was the kind of beans that he wanted.
Okay. And
They
then
were
why?
just, they
go
were just
ahead.
always my daddy's beans.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, the boys is not gonna make a garden. I got 4 brothers, and none of them. Well, my brother here makes a garden, but he didn't plant
He,
any.
he didn't.
Right.
He didn't want
that,
any.
He didn't want that kind of beans.
And I
That's
thought, you know,
what
I gotta
found.
plant Daddy's green beans. Good. That's pretty good.
And so you had learned about gardening though from your
From my
parents
dad.
originally, from your dad. Yeah.
I learned fishing and gardening from him.
Right.
Me and him
Well,
would go
good.
fishing every day.
Is that right?
That old boat right there,
Yeah.
we'd load that in the back of his truck. But he's got a big tractor that he comes over and does all his gardening. Get him, JD. 3,
It's about
4.
about 3 years
3 or
old and
4.
a dress.
Yeah, this is him. This is my dad, and that's his
That's
sister.
his sister.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In this little dress. Yep.
That's cute.
I've always liked that picture.
We came
This is a gardening family because they're all involved in this stuff. This is her brother's plot. This has always been her father's plot, the man who grew those beans and had them passed on to him from his parents. So this is definitely a gardening family, and it seems like their patriarch really established that amongst you guys, huh? Your father.
But we used to have a king snake that lived in there all the time,
Yeah.
and I don't know where he ever got off. We went up to pick blueberries one time. This has been years and years ago. We had a one of these little ice chests, you know, that the lid flips up.
Mhm.
Well, going up there, we saw a king snake in the road. And I remember Daddy saying, now, if that king snake's there when we come back, we're going to pick him up. Well, lo and behold, he was there. And we picked that we had to chase that snake down, me and him, and put it in that cooler. And we brought that rascal home. And my mother kept looking around the back seat and said, Mama, don't worry. That snake is in the trunk. If he's going to get out, he's got to get past me before he can get to you. But we brought that snake home and turned it loose down here.
the big one that her and him caught.
That was so funny. We got out with a towel and caught that snake.
And
Yeah.
put it in a cooler. Put it in her cooler.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you've got a king snake, you won't have any other snakes.
Millions of snakes, copperheads.
Yeah, it's amazing the roles that plants play in our lives, isn't it?
Sure is.
Because all these trees and everything produces what we breathe.
Yeah.
You know, they purify our air.
Right.
We have to breathe.
Right.
And plants in a house do the same thing in your house.
Sure.
I'm sure
And
they
that's
do.
probably why, because they didn't grow true to form.
Right.
They didn't
Yeah.
go too far.
Right.
They was hybrids because we
Yep.
had bought the seed the year before.
Yep, it's a shame. It's those
That
seed
it's come
companies
to
have
that.
you.
It is, yeah,
It's
yeah.
those.
Because now you get so many hybrids.
When you
Right.
buy them now,
You don't know what you're going to
you
get
don't
the
know what
next
you're gonna
year.
plant next year if you try to save
I would save them, but they've always told me that they're hybrids and you don't know what's going to come
Right.
up. And I don't want
Right.
to waste my dirt and my energy.
Right. Okay, so had y'all always saved seeds and you knew they were going to grow true, you would continue to save
Oh,
seeds.
yes, I would.
Well, we're in the middle of starting a project through the university where we're going to try to collect these old-timey seeds and then start distributing them
Oh, that's good.
so that you can save them again. And so I'll have some available.
And
Okay.
in my lifetime, you know, when we first married and used to garden early in life, the seeds was good. Then we could have saved them and they would have been true.